This is being recorded, but I'm not broadcasting it.
Right.
So this is just something, like I said, after. So when we do the recording, this is through something called Steam. Got Michael here. And let's do it that way. So Trevor's just wondering where to find this show. So this is something we do through StreamYard. It's the program that we pay for, thanks to the money people give us. And then so we have it automatically linked to what we just did, has been shown on YouTube, on the CUSF Facebook page, and then there's a Canadian University shooting page as well. So it goes straight to that. And then after the episodes, I download them as well, just so I have them on the computer. And then we have another guy who does, I think he works in film, and he said he's going to help us with some editing. And then he turns this into audio. And then post it in a shared drive. And then from there, I upload it to Anchor, which is the program that we use for the podcast. And then it gets uploaded as a podcast. So, and then from there, we have, Spotify is our biggest one, but we've got about 5 or 6 different streaming sites or podcast hosting sites that you can listen to it. We're just waiting for the iTunes one. I guess that's the one that takes the longest to get approved from.
Yes. Okay, I found the link to a friend who was asking off of the Facebook page.
Yeah. So the live one, what some people do, like what Kelly did, for example, she posted it on her Facebook saying this is going to happen. So the link that I send you guys, you can just share that on your pages. But if you want to show anybody the episode after the fact, then probably the YouTube link would be the easiest.
Okay. And the YouTube channel is the same thing, Canadian Shooting Federation, your Canadian University Shooting Federation?
Exactly. So if you YouTube Canadian University Shooting Federation, or if you go onto Spotify, same thing, Canadian University Shooting Federation, it should all come up, and then we have the episode. I think we've only got 3 episodes up right now. I'm hoping to get the rest up between now and Christmas. And then Dave and I were going to do a short, like a 10-minute, we're going to announce the gun giveaway. Fuck, I forgot to mention that again. Fuck's sake. Keep forgetting to mention that gun giveaway. But we're going to announce the winner of the gun giveaway that CUSF is doing, and then we're going to have another little competition over Christmas for listeners to win some swag. And then we're going to start recording again in the new year, probably.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I say probably because I don't think we're going to be able to line up guests between now and 2021. That went well. I should almost call that the IPSC episode.
Yeah, we kind of really talked about IPSC more than handguns.
But I mean, there's only so much you can do with handguns in Canada. We don't have open carry. We don't hunt with our handguns. So I mean, the only thing people do is either they go to the range and throw ammunition down range. I was going to say throw dollars down range, or they compete. And there's only so many competitions for handguns, right?
Yeah, but there are other ones too that we didn't talk about.
Okay, fire away, because this is probably going to get uploaded anyways, especially if we come up with some good shit here.
Yeah, again, this is stuff that I know very little about. But there's something called leap shooting that we've seen at BC. It's a law enforcement action pistol. So it's based around sort of qualification standards for law enforcement.
Oh yeah, and that's something civilians can do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
I see there's a lot of people shooting revolvers in that. I don't know why, but that's
it goes back to when it was PPC, which was police practical combat shooting, and it was initially a revolver only competition, and it morphed into it's pretty much dynamic or static rather. You're on a shared shooting line, different positions, distances out to 50. I don't know if it's yards or meters. But it has evolved into such a gamer's game that the revolvers look like Buck Rogers Blaster. They've got these crazy sights that run the whole length of the gun.
Keep it bare bones. I was saying, I want to take. I'm talking for all of these episodes. I think I brought up the fact that my next rifle is going to be a Swedish Mauser because I'm Swedish and I shot those when I was 15 back home. And I want to take a Swedish Mauser down a 3-gun or IPSC or whatever. I want to bolt action my way around that thing.
Hardcore. You know what?
I'll place dead last, but I'll have fun doing it.
In IPSC rifle, there is a manual division, and there are guys over in Europe that shoot IPSC rifle matches with Lee Enfields and other things like that.
Fuck yeah.
And they fucking get after it. They can run that bolt and middle finger the trigger on those Lee Enfields like nobody's business.
Because I mean, that's how the biathletes do it. They trigger and bolt with the index finger. Right?
And the thumb cycles the bolt, the action. Yeah. But these revolvers, the trigger press is so incredibly light. You just think about it and it goes off. And Michael had talked about power factor. So it's the weight of the bullet divided by, or weight of the bullet multiplied by the speed divided by 1,000. You got to come up to this number for this division and this number for this division. The power factor in PPC is simply this: the bullet must penetrate the paper.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can literally see the bullets lobbing the 50 yards, which is why they got these big, ridiculous sights on them. It's started off as something to give cops an opportunity to train, and now it's just a revolver game.
Hey, Kelly will back me up on this, but it wasn't that long ago since Corrections Canada still carried a revolver, and I think it was a leather holster as well.
There is Brinks and Garda. They're armored truck companies, and Garda is still using a revolver.
They still use a revolver, eh? Well, when I went through it, when was that? I did training winter 2010-11, and P2000s is what we had. And then I think you spent 3-4 days on the 3-4 days on the handgun to qualify on that at various distances, and it was like head to chest in however many seconds or behind a barrier, and it was kind of fun actually. It's the closest thing I ever got to actually shooting a handgun.
Yeah, the Canadian military is another embarrassment in handguns too.
The what? Sorry,
the Canadian military.
Yeah, using World War II era high powers.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah, they've been trying to procure new guns for decades. And
I know the rifles are coming along. They got rid of the Canadian Rangers. They got a new rifle, the C19.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Sacco, isn't it? Sacco?
It's a Tika. It's a Tika. That's like if I ever want to spend $1 million on a hunting rifle, that'd be the one, because I'm very much like, if it's good enough for the military, it's good enough for me. So that's the one I want to buy for that. But there was something else I was reading about quite recently. They were getting some new gun. It was something Canadian.
Oh, they got some new sniper rifles.
Yes, recently. That was it.
Yes, I kind of forgot what model they are. They look really nice though. But, there's probably a small number of them. I don't know. When I think about, we're talking about handguns, so back to the Canadian military. I don't know. You've probably heard of Forgotten Weapons. They talk about how the handgun is actually the least important piece of the whole military, yet everybody talks about it because everybody's carrying one, right? No war is decided by what handgun you carry.
No, absolutely. I mean, back in the day, and when I say back in the day, World War I, I mean, the general soldiery had rifles, and then you can tell an officer because he had a handgun.
Right. It's pretty much still like that. Not everybody's carrying a high power. I don't think. Is every grunt in the infantry in Canada carrying a rifle and a sidearm?
I don't think sidearms.
No.
I do imagine. I mean, military police would have sidearms. I was a version of the military police back home, and we talked about let's have sidearms, because it's really hard to jump on a guy and bend his arms around the back when you have this rifle flying around the side of you. We all wanted handguns, but we never got them. Mm-hmm. But I think most people just have rifles in the military.
Yeah.
And there was a kick going for a while in Canada for self-defense style training, and we were bringing up I went down to take a Mag 40 with Masada Ayub in Utah. That was hosted by the Gun Dudes, which at the time was the biggest U.S. pro gun podcast, and then brought some of that attitude back to Canada, and we started to bring in a Mag 40 instructor, and then we were bringing in Daniel Shaw, who was a Marine Corps master instructor, and we were getting that self-defense style training going on for a while, and then ITAR shut all that shit down.
It'd be pretty cool to try that stuff.
There is something sort of like that. It's IDPA. You ever heard of that?
No. Well, maybe I have. I don't know what it is.
I probably have. They wear fishing vests.
Yeah. So IDPA has a reputation for being a bunch of old dudes, which is
guys who suck at IPSC is what it is.
Yeah. So the concept of IDPA is that it's a more practical version of IPSC. The idea is that it's guns you would actually carry and real defensive scenarios.
From concealment.
From concealment.
That's the best joke I made. They have to wear an actual concealment garment.
Yes. But it's sort of limited popularity in Canada. I know a few clubs that shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of crossover with IPSC. The rules are somewhat similar.
The safety rules are pretty similar, but then there's they have things like tactical sequence. You have to keep 50% of your body behind cover. You have to shoot targets in the order of the greatest threat, so the closest target out.
That seems really interesting, actually.
They have a head box on their target, so basically, there's only one way to shoot the stage. Part of IPSC is a stage plan, like Michael was talking about earlier. People get pretty uptight in IPSC, and they don't want to share their stage plan, and they don't want to go first because you're going to see how I do the stage and all this foolishness. Most of the stuff they're uptight about actually doesn't make them better shooters. But an IDPA is really, there's only one way to shoot the stage, and it's accuracy and speed. The scoring system is different.
Different strokes for different folk, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And but you don't go chasing points by spending money on guns. There's stock service pistol, enhanced service pistol, revolver, and that might be it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of like compact divisions in the US, but we can't get those.
Oh yeah, they would have those too.
Yeah.
It goes by weight. The gun has to weigh so much. If it's too light or too heavy, it doesn't. Basically too heavy is the thing, right? Like you get a big, heavy like Shadow or Shadow 2 or Tanfoglio Stock 2 or Stock 3. Like they're a tank. I've picked up Stock 2s, which is a Tanfoglio Production Division pistol that weigh more than my 40 caliber pistol, and they weigh them down like that so that they don't recoil. That would not be allowed in IDPA because it's a gamer's gun. IDPA is International Defensive Pistol. What's the A stand for? Association. Yeah. It's not an international. It's an American game.
It's probably America then.
It's like the team that won the NFL Super Bowl last year is the world champions, but they don't play anybody from whatever.
The world champions of America.
We're the world champions. Okay. You're your own champion. IDPA, same thing. International. No, they should call it national. But anyway.
Cool. Okay. Well, it's good that there's options out there for budgets and for interests. Personally, I like old guns. I like cheap guns. I like military stuff. The more practical side, because that's my background. Like me on the civilian side of shooting, this is quite new to me. My history is very chopped up with professional shooting. Little bit, 5 minutes in the military back home, 5 minutes working for Canadian Forces or Canadian Corrections here. But that's most of my gun background. It's professional. It is in uniform. So I'm just learning the civilian side. And I don't know, that last thing you mentioned here, that seems kind of interesting, shooting behind concealment and stuff. It
sounds interesting on the surface, but as soon as you really dive into it, you discover that IPSC is a much better game.
It is,
Yeah, I'd say a big thing is the skill curve. Like the difference between, I would say, like the best person at IPA versus the best person in IPSC, it's hands down the IPSC guy will wreck them.
Yeah.
I think we should have a shooting competition episode now. I think would either of you guys be interested in coming back?
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Because if we do like an IPSC versus whatever, or a 3-gun episode or something like that.
Yeah, this kind of just turned into an IPSC episode, but we could do another one about IPSC.
Yeah, I mean, I know you were trying as well to steer it back to CSF and to handguns, and I appreciate that, Mike.
Yeah, but, me too, Mike. Yeah, we're coming back.
Yeah,
let me put you out of your rabbit hole.
No, because I mean, I make this shit up as I go along, right? Like I don't really have much of a plan, and I also don't like to give the guests too much of a heads up of what I'm going to do. Like this is a general specific, but the rest of it I want to just free flow. Like a lot of what I do in podcasting and in life, I'm on autopilot and I sit back and watch myself do whatever I end up doing. Right. And
works for Joe Rogan.
I'm just along for the ride. So
just have the organic conversation. Let it go.
Exactly. And just right now I'm thinking we've got a couple of guests lined up. Like we mentioned Beretta as a sponsor now. I think they have somebody they want to bring on. And then Dave talked about I forget it. I've got it here. There was some other organization that they had a representative they wanted to come on, but more shooting competitions because it is a sport at the end of the day, especially with our organization.
Definitely, yeah. I think having Adriel on would make for a great episode. he knows. I mean, there's probably some like history of 3-gun in Canada that I don't know anything about. Like, how did it start? How long has it been around? I have no idea. Yeah. Well, there's certainly something there.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to pull the plug on this. I got to go for a piss because this beer's going through me.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks again, fellas. Sorry, Dave couldn't join us for this last bit, but so this bit is going to be like a little bonus thing. We might throw that out between episodes, or I might just, whenever it becomes available, I'll put it up on YouTube. But yeah, feel free to promote us. Trevor, give us a shout out on your podcast.
100%. Yep.
And I'll talk to you and Kelly about having either of you and also this third person back on here as well.
Yeah, and we should have one of you guys on to promote your show to our audience.
Nice. Yeah, Dave, well, when I prepared for this, like when Dave approached me a couple of months ago and said, let's do a podcast, he sent me the episode of Gunning Around that he was on, and then he sent me the episode of Slamfire that he was on, and I gave both a listen, and I kind of used that as a bit of a template for what I'm doing here.
Perfect. Cool.
All right. Well, I'm going to say goodnight to both. Oh, good night. Fuck, it's not even 5 o'clock.
Cool. Nice meeting you, Michael.
Yeah, you too. All right. Cheers, guys.
Have a good night, guys. Take care.